Few movies open quite as strongly as WALL-E, a glistening universe full of excitement and wonder, a jaunty tune, and the Earth destroyed beyond repair. Put on your Sunday clothes and your hazmat suit. Let's bear witness to what we've done. Skyscrapers of trash, weather conditions that put Arrakis to shame, and but one tiny robot tasked with fixing it all. The harshness of WALL-E's working conditions almost rival those of Amazon. The juxtaposition of the world's apocalyptic state with the music's tone is a delightfully cynical artistic choice, one that puts the film's dark sense of humour on display. That doesn't mean it sacrifices optimism, of course. This is an absolute worst-case scenario for the environment. But even if it gets this bad, there can still remain a glimmer of hope. There's a reason why the song works so well as our main character's motif. But when it quiets down and we begin to truly realise how desolate this environment is, the sheer volume of the crunch, grind and pop of WALL-E's work cycle takes us by surprise. The sound design is impeccable. It's immersive while remaining stylish. The insanely cold title card and accompanying score, with its despairing yet awe-inspiring arpeggios, feels like the movie finally showing its hand. Things are bad, and it is our fault. Welcome to 2815 AD. The opening segment also demonstrates why WALL-E's are a bad idea. We see in the newspaper that the hilariously named Shelby Forthright, President, CEO, and Supreme Leader, has declared a state of emergency. There is simply too much rubbish for the Earth to handle. Getting robots to crush it all together and neatly organise the resulting debris solves absolutely nothing. The abhorrently large Ultra store shows that growth is being pursued beyond reason and need. The prefix Ultra, meaning above, demonstrates this. It's not even a particularly strong exaggeration. Plus, at least B&L have the decency to build fucking trains. This shot, for instance, conjures images of places like Times Square. Were it not for the uniformity of what's being advertised, it would look almost normal. The propaganda posters beautifully capture the punchy catchphrases corporate pigs sell to us as progress. Do your part, fill your cart, alongside working to dig you out, show B&L promoting consumption as a collective good, a social duty even, while simultaneously posing as our salvation from the disastrous consequences of that very ideology. Our anxiety about the damage we're doing could foster some distrust of our oh-so-generous overlords, so they deploy a fake solution that quells those feelings just enough to keep us consuming. I see the film's decision to show us nuclear power plants and wind farms as an invitation to reconsider our precious notions about sustainability. Fossil fuels destroy the planet faster, sure, but the constantly escalating demand for unnecessary products means that no matter how environmentally friendly your energy sources may be, they will never be enough. WALL-E's world assumes that the ruling megacorporation actually is benevolent. Their true purpose is to fulfill human needs and desires. Of course, as a consequence, that heavily involves manufacturing those desires. Simply look at the advertisement-laden screen that everyone spends all day looking at. Pointless games, artificial creation of trends, and consumption are the fuel that keeps this economy running. The argument being made is that even if you accept that the corporation is benevolent, which you shouldn't, the outcome is still not desirable. When we defer the responsibility of raising our children to an indoctrinating computer, and the responsibility of taking care of nature to a company, we end up living a non-life where our only purpose is to be fed, clothed, and entertained. This is not happiness. This is the experience machine. What value can anyone contribute when all we do is chat idly and suck slop through a straw? This is part of why the focus on robots as the main characters is such a powerful storytelling device. Humans have lost what made them human in the first place, and therefore the robots are the ones who are allowed a genuine emotional experience. They are the ones who get to face conflict and build their own lives. WALL-E's storage container has more personality than the entire Axiom. Even though he was quite literally manufactured by a corporation, he's still able to piece together a culture through the artifacts humans left behind, and in so doing reinvents it. The difference between a neat thing and a piece of junk is up to him. Yes, the diamond may be shiny, but if there's no one around to appreciate its shininess, the box's hinge is better. Equipped for some reason with a powerful laser, WALL-E discovers the final piece of plant matter the world has to offer, recognizing but not fully understanding its significance. It's so much fun watching Wall-E navigate this terrain like nobody's business. Say what you want about B&L, they make high quality products. Being the stupid fucking idiot he is, Wall-E does not know that the red light of the ship is actually an intangible, non-material phenomenon and is quickly served fresh at 1500 degrees centigrade. He brilliantly places a rock over his head for disguise, and gazes upon the suspiciously clean, yet inscrutable piece of technology before him. They only send out one probe at a time, showing that the recovery of life on Earth is of no particular priority to the mothership. There is enormous efficiency in non-verbal communication, especially for a film aimed at small children. The score of this movie is amazing. It emphasizes and accentuates the film's emotions in a way that never obstructs them. At some points it's apocalyptic and others euphoric. Very catchy at points too. I love that they go for a soundtrack that's largely orchestral in nature, despite being a movie about robots. Their use of electronic instruments is sparing, but when they do, it's an absolute treat. Their use of no music is just as classy as their use of music, especially at the end and during some of the more tender segments. This film is hilarious. There's a lot of jokes for kids, but none of them are only funny to kids. The adult jokes are more found through subtext and social commentary rather than groan-worthy sex references. There's a veritable casserole of different styles of humour. The ironic and clever music choices are particularly funny in the first date segment, but the movie never forgets to be silly, especially with its physical comedy. It's a great example of using animation to its full potential. It's the bittersweet details that make this film so authentic. It doesn't signpost towards emotion directly in order to manipulate the audience. The movie offers something real. Wall-E's character design is infinitely expressive and cute, while also being iconic and simple. There's so much range. Him using his box door thingy as a defense mechanism works just as well as watching him get owned by shopping trolleys. Somehow, this robot is so much more expressive than a live-action animal. I believe there's significance to the character being named Eve. This is the first couple to exist in hundreds of years. They revive the human connection that we didn't know we needed. Like in Genesis, there's a theme of stewardship over Earth. We see immediately that Eve is a curious figure. While she's bound to do her work, she quickly becomes frustrated at its futility. As any cop worth their salt would, Eve immediately shoots the things that move in her search for life. After blasting and subsequently making friends with the cockroach, she performs some enhanced interrogation on Wall-E. Scanning him and reading nothing of significance, he falls hopelessly in love and begins stalking her at her workplace. Of course, visually speaking, the movie is incredible. There are some sparse parts that look a little bit dated, but it's still a complete treat to watch. The visual diversity is quite impressive considering the limitations in colour you would expect from having no nature whatsoever. The darker lit scenes look strangely appealing, like you could imagine the Fallout creatures from this area would go crazy. The space segments are absolute eye candy, everything still looks cool, and the robot characters all have their own sense of personality. Wall-E, plucky hero, Eve, sleek love interest, Mo, dilly-dallying bureaucrat, Go 4, the servant of evil, stewards, fucking cops, and of course, our kooky cast of mental patients. Eve is utterly unimpressed with the laborious totem Wall-E builds, and he is punished accordingly. The fact that this probe was designed with such destructive force, as well as her purpose being a secret, shows that these machines were built with great fear in mind. Perhaps Auto had already gotten his hooks into their manufacture, built to destroy more than cooperate. The cream on the cockroach's antennas, very cute. Eve's motto is to move fast and break things, although instead of finding success in the tech industry, she finds love. What a schmuck. She immediately figures out how lighters work, clearly a prodigious smoker. After having his advances refused yet again, persistent old Wall-E shows her the one thing that might change her mind. The most important thing on the entire Earth. She does not take to this at all well, stealing it with impunity and passing out from excitement. We are therefore treated to hopeless, holeless Wall-E bringing his dead love interest on various hot dates. Would you navigate the sludge waters with me? Even the light bulbs hate this motherfucker. Dejected, Wall-E returns to his work until something unprecedented happens. A ship containing several Eve probes is deployed on the Earth. Somehow overcoming Kessler syndrome, the rocket breaks past silly shit like Sputnik into the horrible, inhospitable vacuum of space, although for some reason it looks incredibly charming. He almost prevents the entire plot from happening, but those gosh darn survival instincts kick in. Although it is a funny joke, it does slightly hurt to see the moon being plundered for profit. Upon reaching the Axiom, we're given a fantastic sequence of protocol-compliant busywork. The alarm popping out of Mo's head is just so good. It's very easy to believe that all of these robots, no matter how different they look and act, are all part of the same ecosystem. The fact that Mo misses that one spot of dirt shows how evil it is that he broke from the lines in the first place. And the robot highway, yes. After a very large portion of the runtime, we're introduced to our human passengers, and the puzzle is complete. Can we talk about how awesome Auto is as a villain right now? The ultimate puppet master, he's both immediately recognizable as the bad guy, while having understandable motivations. He knows that he'll have to give up control if the Axiom returns to Earth, so he must sabotage humanity's only chance at revival. The captain's power is merely symbolic.
Otto, why didn't you wake me for morning announcements? Honestly, it's the one thing I get to do on this ship.
Speaking of symbolism, the captain's quarters are physically lower than Auto's. Life on Earth has been forgotten, and though the information hasn't actually been destroyed, no one is around to be informed. Until the captain so joyfully rediscovers how awesome learning is. There's no culture on the Axiom, no sense of having a genuine adventure. You follow the path that's been laid out for you in the most literal way. The optimism? You can't suppress human curiosity forever. The captain works great as the main human character, aloof in many ways but still willing to take decisive action when necessary. He is the only person willing to step up to his robot rulers. The scene where he and Auto argue is just brilliant.
On the Axiom, you will survive.
I don't want to survive! I want to live!
Must follow my directive.
Auto cannot get that the ultimate purpose of the Axiom was not survival, it was eventual return to Earth.
Rather than try and fix this problem, it'll just be easier for everyone to remain in space.
Easier?
The captain understands that living on it is not easier than on the Axiom, but he's bored. He doesn't want a doom scroll. He doesn't want to slurp the slop. He wants challenge and purpose. Shelby Forthright's lectern is an evident statement on the commingling of business and politics. The corporation follows the path of least resistance, over-promising and under-delivering. The movie shows the upside of living in the false reality while also showcasing its obvious inferiority. Sure, being weighted on hand and foot by robots is comfortable, but it's gotta get dull after, say, 5 years. We have to be given the most luxurious, distracting, and brief voyage in space to make giving up Earth even worth considering. The costs we took to arrive here aren't really mentioned explicitly. The entire animal kingdom was genocided, most of humanity presumably, and of course Earth itself. Yes, we got plants back, but we almost lost them entirely. This film seeks a higher level, more abstracted approach than just an anti-capitalist allegory. Although it holds corporations and advertising liable for the climate disaster, money itself goes almost unmentioned. There's no need to go into class and wealth when seeing the apocalypse in motion. Disney specifically shied away from making too much merchandise. Everyone make sure to check out the V-Smile version of the WALL-E game. By the way, MatPat, the captain says regenerative food buffet like it regenerates. I don't think they're eating each other, MatPat. This is an absolute post-scarcity, as pointed out by this comment on a fly-through of the Axiom posted on Disney's channel. When you strip back the layers, when you strip back the advertising, the Axiom looks depressing and shitty. It looks very charmed in theory, but we quickly learn how undesirable it is. After saying the line, "one who isn't so superficial, you know," she looks beyond the screen for the first time in her entire existence. Her mind is completely blown. With his naivete and honesty, WALL-E causes chaos wherever he goes, for he has no respect of the systems under which he finds himself. Still manages to make himself useful though. How could any day on the Axiom be different from any other day?
I'm sure our forefathers would be proud to know that 700 years later we'd be doing the exact same thing they were doing.
It's always 72 degrees, the day and night cycle is arbitrary, as is hilariously shown by the captain's wake-up sequence, the pool closes late at night, even though it requires no maintenance, and there is no day and night. Time itself is used as a system of control. The pacing, the momentum with which events unfold, brilliant. The smallest seeming events take on so much significance. This is why you agonize over the script. This is why you make movies. Tragically, Eve was given an impromptu hysterectomy by Otto, and so the status quo is quickly restored. In his ceaseless pursuit of cleanliness, Mo causes mayhem, refusing all medical treatment. Wall-E is non-consensually dolled up, and witnesses the beheading of his only love, shortly before fucking absolutely everything up! On the bright side, he is now revered as a god by the criminally insane. They're quickly stopped by the long arm of the law, become public enemy 1 and 2, and so Eve decides she wants a divorce. We witness some dastardly deeds by Go4, who, on Otto's orders, tries to destroy humanity's last hope of life. Eve is deeply saddened by watching her lover explode into a million pieces, and seems quite relieved when it turns out he survived. The space background, especially with the particles from the fire hose, makes for such an entertaining scene. They're sliding around exactly how they should be. This film just makes me happy. Inspired by Mary's experience of being in reality for the very first time, Wall-E acts as the unlikely matchmaker for her John. After accidentally making human contact, John lays down the Riz. This film is so good that it almost makes you forget about how utterly inaccurate the computer definitions are. Ding! Although it's like, yeah, the computer is telling you not the whole truth. Funny that, after recovering the plant, the captain begins to find out just how terrible things are on Earth. Rather than trying to fix this problem, it would just be easier to stay in space. We have to do Directive A113. It's the only rational option left. What, you're gonna do the irrational option? He realizes, though other captains come and go, the constant is Otto. The time for change, he sees, is now. The absurdity of how little power he has compared to robots is lost on him until he sees how long this has been happening. He understands that not only does he need to return to Earth, he wants to, but it's too late. I thought the Wall-E robots were evil as a kid. And they're the same, they're friendly. They're friendly guys. The shot where Mo drops himself into the trash is extremely funny. He is incredibly committed, given that. And this is why you can't kill Mo. He will save your ass so that he can clean you. A severely injured Wall-E desperately explains to his wife that he can only survive with a return to Earth. It's the same principle, only more urgent. We need to return to Earth, and with a cute wave from the friendly Wall-E robots, it's time for shit to go down. We are reunited with our friends along the way. During a hilarious fight scene between the captain and Otto, we get the demise of Go4 via the captain's considerable bulk. Not exactly sure why the ship is equipped to go against its own gravity when the wheel is turned. As any button should be designed, pressing it harder makes it go down more. An appropriate use of Also sprach Zarathustra, complete with a cheering crowd and a horrified Eve, leads to the absolute smackdown, killing the villain with a flick of a switch. Humanity quickly learns how to walk. They retrieve the plant, and an even more severely injured Wall-E pops out. The situation does not look good. The cockroach, who had been waiting patiently on that exact spot for the entire time, witnesses the Axiom's final return to Earth. It's shown that Eve, despite her obliviousness about how Wall-E's stuff worked in the beginning, quickly makes it work when she needs to. Watching him crush up his trinkets and unceremoniously roll over his cockroach friend, so heartbreaking. While I think that Wall-E's memory being permanently erased and their love amounting to nothing would have been an excellent ending, the one we do get is extremely sweet. Once the survivors on the Axiom finally come to grips with the world they destroyed, the world they left behind, will they weep? Will they yearn to see animals again? Will they feel ashamed? Eve is actually a boy. They were gay this whole time. We love the Earth.